Okay, so the WBC is one of the very important investigation, and it is done in laboratory with a cell analyzer. But हम physiology में practically भी lab में भी करते हैं, and there we use a special method similar like a method we use for the RBC count. But difference is the pipette which we use in RBC count. That pipette dilute the blood 1:10 time. So जो one part लेते हैं उसका 10 time dilution होता है. So whenever we dilute, so we multiplication factor will be the 100. Sorry, 1:100 time in RBC. While in WBC, the dilution is 1:10. So your multiplication factor will be somewhere around 10. Okay. Second thing, we dilute it in a specific fluid that is called WBC diluting fluids, are also called as a Turk's fluid. The Turk's fluid contain methylene blue, which stains the nucleus of the WBC and which gives them dark blue colors to the nucleus of the WBC. And second is acetone. So acetone follows hollow around the nucleus, and it is a hypotonic solution. So it will lyses the RBC. RBC will be completely lysed. So there in the field you will not see any RBCs. And also it lies the cytoplasm. So the acetone will maintain the cell membrane. So it will create like a ghost-like appearance. So there will be the dark pointed blue dots surrounded by the hollow. And that blue dots, you will count those blue dots on a Newbox chamber. And that will give you idea how the WBC count we can do. Second count we do is a DLC. That is called differential leukocyte count. और इसके बारे में हमने कल क्लास में बात की थी कि पेरिफेरल्स में लिशमनस्टेन वगैरह करते हैं. Then we count 100 WBCs and then we can get a percentage of neutrophil, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophil, basophil. Okay, and depend upon like in acute infection, neutrophil concentration increase. So suppose your WBC count is from 10,000 become 12,000, then neutrophil has will increase somewhere around 70 to 80%. It will be on the upper limit or more than upper limit than other WBCs. If it is a chronic infection, then there will lymphocyte count will be increased. So normally it is 20 to 30. It can become 40 or sometimes 50% lymphocytes count. Some viral infection, also lymphocyte count is increased, or sometimes it decrease also in viral infection. So there is a little bit decrease in the WBC count. At the same time, there is decrease in lymphocyte count. Okay. Then some specific viral infection where monocytes count increases. Acute infection also monocyte count increases. That condition is called infectious mononucleosis. Okay, in that name itself shows it is monocytes count has been increased, and so in that infection the monocyte count will be very much high. Whenever there is allergic reaction, that time eosinophil and basophil count many times increase. In parasitical infection also eosinophil count increase. Nowadays we use eosinophilia as a indicator for the allergic condition. So कोई patient आपके पास cough का आता है and is not able to respond to normal drugs and all those things, you just make his absolute eosinophil count or DLC count, and you'll see that eosinophil count has been increased. Not it's 2%, it's more than 5 or 10%. Then you might consider there might be some exposure to the allergens. Okay, so this is just a brief introduction clinically how WBC is helpful. At the end of the class, again, we'll discuss, if possible, we get time, we'll discuss about some clinical cases. First, we'll start with the WBC. WBC is also called as a leukocytes. Leuko stand for white. Okay. If you see the WBC, it is not only there are different type of the leukocytes will be there, and they are classified into two types with respect to presence of granules. So WBCs which contain granules are called granulocytes, and WBCs which doesn't contain granules are called agranulocytes. So in granulocytes there is a neutrophils which have a granule which can take both acidic and basic stain. So they stain with both eosinophil and methylene blue stain. Eosinophils are the contain the granules which take only acidic stains, and basophils are contain the granules which take only basic stain. Detail हम next subsequent इसमें बात करेंगे इसके बारे में. Then come to the agranulocytes. This doesn't contain visible granules. So if you see monocytes does contain the granules, but it is not visible by the or normal microscope, and these are called azurophilic granules. So they are considered agranulocytes, but they has a granules. Then come to lymphocyte. Lymphocyte doesn't contain any granules, and they is made up of big nucleus and cytoplasm. If you see morphological classification, lymphocytes can divide into small lymphocytes and large lymphocytes, and functionally it can divide into type B lymphocytes and type T lymphocytes. Okay, इसके बारे में भी हम डिटेल में बात करेंगे जब when we will talk about lymphocytes. Then come to the normal counts, which we already discussed. It's somewhere around 4,000 to 11,000. Immediately after birth, it is very high. That is somewhere around 10,000 to 25,000. And as the age increases, it start decreasing. And by the end of the year, it will come somewhere around 6 to 16,000. Okay. Now, if you see that there are different leukocyte count about granules, they usually we do in the form of percentage. So these are examples of percentage. So neutrophil is somewhere around 40 to 70%, eosinophil 1 to 5% or 6%, basophil 0 to 1 or 2%. Then lymphocytes is 20 to 40%, and monocytes are somewhere around 2 to 10%. If you come to the absolute count, then it is like we'll consider total WBC count, and then whatever percentage we are getting, with that percentage we will multiply, and then you'll get an absolute count. So if you see absolute count, is somewhere around 2000 to 7500 for the neutrophils, 40 to 440 is for eosinophil, and 0 to 100 for basophils, and lymphocytes somewhere around 1500 to 4000, and for monocytes is somewhere around 500 to 800. So these are called absolute count, and many times you will see the total leukocyte count decrease, but the absolute count of the particular cell has been increased, and that gives you varieties of different diagnosis. Then come to the difference in count. So whenever there is a variation in the count, whenever there is a increase in WBC count, then we call it as a leukocytosis. And there are also, like last class, also physiological and pathological causes. So physiological causes are age. As the early age, there is in childhood, there is a high leukocyte count. As the age increases, leukocyte count start decreasing. Immediately after exercise, leukocyte count increase because of increased sympathetic activity. There will be vasoconstriction, and peripheral pool में जितना भी blood cells होता है, that will come into the central pools. Then immediately after food intake, stress, pregnancy, and exposure to extreme temperature, low temperature or high temperature, all those things can increase leukocyte count. Then pathological, obviously, as these are immune cells, the infection will causes. So acute infection, bacterial infection will increase the total WBC count, but more specifically, they increase the count of neutrophil. Then acute hemorrhage or burns immediately after the operation, tuberculosis and glandular fever, that infectious mononucleosis. In those also, these counts are being increased. So all infections usually increase, except few like if you see enteric fever, there are relative decrease in WBC count. Why I'm saying relative, there is increase, but considering the severity of the infection or fever, it is not that much high count, and there more of the lymphocyte count increase. Viral infection में lymphocyte बढ़ता है and neutrophil कम होता है. In chronic infection, there is more lymphocyte count increase and less neutrophil count. Okay. Then come to decrease in the count. So decrease in the count is called as a leukopenia. There is no physiological cause for the leukopenia, so there are always pathological whenever there is a decrease in the count. So many non-pathogenic infections, as I already said, enteric fever, that is typhoid fever and paratyphoid fever, they contain this decrease in WBC count. Then in viral infections like influenza, smallpox, corona, there is decrease in WBC count. Then protozoal infection, then malnutrition, then aplastic bone marrow, all those will decrease WBC count. Then many times when patient goes under some therapy that depresses the bone marrow, like a patient on cancer treatment, cytotoxic drugs can decrease the WBC count, RBC count. Then when you repeatedly exposed to the X-ray, then also there is a decrease in WBC count. And then some poisons like arsenic or antimony, then also there is a decrease in WBC count. Okay. Now then come to the leukocytosis, which function, structure, and all those things, and how it is forms. So first, formation of leukocytosis. So sites of the leukocytosis are the same as that of the sites for the erythropoiesis. So first start with the liver, then bone marrow. So it is in the same site, and it is also um, formed from the common cell, that is pluripotent hemopoietic cell. Then it differentiated into two different type of the cells. One is a one which forms the granulocytes or monocytes. So those which form the granulocytes are called myeloid series, those from the monocytes are called monocytes or macrophage series. So it is macro series will be there, and those who form lymphocytes are called lymphoid series. So to form this progenitor cell to differentiate into different type of the cells, there is a chemicals which stimulate the differentiation of the pluripotent cell for the particular uh, type of the cells. So, and those chemicals are called colony forming units. So, like for neutrophils, the colony forming unit is colony forming unit G. G stands for granulocytes. Similarly, colony forming unit EO, which differentiate the pluripotent into the eosinophil. Then colony forming unit BA is differentiated from the for the basophilic unit. Same thing, colony forming unit M is differentiated for the monocyte forming unit. Okay. So this is how they develop into different cell, and this is just a small chart how it shows the development of different cells. So first it will form pluripotent cells, and from there it convert into myeloid stem cell, differentiated myeloid stem cell. Then it is formed myeloblast. From myeloblast again it differentiated into promyeloblast, and from promyeloblast it differentiated into three different lines under the influence of colony forming unit. So if they get exposed to the colony forming unit G, then it develop into neutrophils and convert into neutrophilic myelocytes. Then it differentiate into neutrophilic metamyelocytes, and from there it forms neutrophilic blast cells, and then it forms neutrophil. Okay. Then similarly, eosinophil represented to the colony forming unit UO. Then it develop into eosinophil, myelocytes, metamyelocytes, and then band cells. This is not basal, it is band cell, and then from it develop into eosinophil. Similarly for the basophil. Then they differentiated and they will stored into the bone marrow, and whenever we required, then they release into the bone marrow. Okay. Then come to the monocytes. Monocytes from myeloid cell it converted into monomyeloblast. Sorry, myelomonoblast under the influence of colony forming unit M, and then from there it forms promonocytes, and from promonocytes it forms monocytes. Size will be start decreasing, and monocyte is one of the largest cell, and it comes to the cell as one of the largest cell in the blood, and once it get activated it will convert it into macrophage and enter into the tissue, and that's why this is also called as a monocyte macrophage series, because monocyte and macrophage same. Monocyte is within the blood, once it comes to tissue we call it as a macrophage. Then come to the lymphoid formation. It will form by lymphoblast. From lymphoblast it goes to the pro lymphocytes, and from there it will form lymphocytes. So whenever the development is keep on occurring, it will start decreasing the size of the cell and increase the basophilic chemical forms within the cytoplasm. Then come to the factors which regulate the leukopoiesis. So the differentiation occur by the colony forming units. Similarly, it has a colony stimulating factors. So G colony stimulating factor will promote the granulocytes. M colony forming stimulating factor will promote the monocytic precursors, or GM colony forming stimulating factor will promote the both granulocyte and monocyte formation. And interleukins, the IL stand for interleukins, are also called as cytokines, and these interleukins promote the formation of lymphocytes. All these factors has been released whenever there is an inflammation occur. So whenever this inflammation or infection occurs, these factors will release and they will increase formation of the particular leukopoiesis. Then prostaglandin also stimulate the formation of monocytes. Then come to the structure of the neutrophil. Okay. Okay, 1 minute break. I'll come within 1 minute.
काही काय वापरतो तू इकडे तिकडे पिना ठेवू नकोस. अगं नाही जाते येडी.
माइक ऑफ कर लो.
कौन आइडिया है? ये सब रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है. थोड़ा तो सेंस रखो, क्या बातें कर रहे हो, क्या नहीं कर रहे हो. और ये रिकॉर्डिंग यूट्यूब पे भी जाएगी. So come to the structures of the various leukocytes. First is the neutrophil. Neutrophil is also called as a polymorphonuclear cells because of its typical nature of different shape of the nucleus. So neutrophil has a can be a single horseshoe-shaped nucleus or can be a multi-lobed nucleus. For 2 to 6 lobe it can be there form, and that's because of different change in the shape of the nucleus. It is called polymorphonuclear neutrophils. If you see the size of the cell, it is somewhere around 10 to 14 micron, which is almost double of the size of the RBC. So when you see in peripheral smear, you can compare it with the size of the RBCs. And very young neutrophil has a low lobe, so it can be like a single lobe or bilobed. And as it become more and more matures, number of lobe will be keep on increasing. So if you come to cytoplasm, and cytoplasm is of more of like a pale bluish color, and it contained fine granules, and those granules take both acidic and basic stain, and that's why they look more of like a violet and pink in the color. And these granules contains various lysosomal enzymes, and these include like a glycosidase, sulfatase, then also nuclease and proteolytic enzymes. And these are lethal for the various microorganisms and bacteria. And whenever the neutrophil phagocytose, they will granules will merge with the phagosomes, and they start killing the bacteria or any microorganism. Similarly, these granules also release the histamine and peroxidase enzyme, which is also very strong. Histamine causes vasodilation, and peroxidase is very strong bactericidal agent. And how you can identify this in peripheral smear? Whenever you're going to identify the cells in peripheral smear, first criteria is size. So look for the size. So 7 micron is the size of the RBC. अब देखो उससे बड़ी cells है क्या? So if you see granular size, they are all ranging in the same side, 10 to 14 micron. Okay, so 10 to 40 micrometers, see the size. Then second point, what you are going to see is the nucleus. So different granulocytes has the different shape of the nucleus. In this neutrophil as a either it is two-lobed or normally it is a 3 to 5 lobes wala dikhta hai. So if you see normal neutrophils are somewhere around 3 to 5 lobes, and then look for the granules. Here granules are very fine, so you can see the nucleus very clearly. So there is no problem in seeing the size and shape of the nucleus. And granules take both stain, violet and pink color, both acid and basic stain. But if you overstain it, then these granules might be look more of purple color, more dark purple color and less pinkish color. Okay, and on these points you can identify the cell. Then whenever the neutrophil release, the only 50% will be in the circulating into the blood, whilst the remaining 50% will be uh, lodged into the just margins of the blood vessels. So these are also called a marginated or sidelined pool of the cell. Okay, and whenever there is increased sympathetic activity, anything they will release into the blood. So this blood can exchange itself with any time, any moment. So whenever there is increased requirement, first site from where the neutrophils come is come from the marginal pool. Okay, and whenever the requirement is there, so factors will release various implementary factors that also stimulate the production of the more neutrophils, and more neutrophils will be available for the inflammation. Then, 1 minute. Now come to the function of neutrophils. Neutrophil is one of the important phagocytic cells, and it phagocytoses the various foreign particles, bacteria, and also digest them and try to kill them. And as we know, transport membrane, we call this process as a phagocytosis. It also participate in the formation reaction of the inflammation. So whenever there is infection, any foreign particle comes and enter in our body and identified first by the macrophage. Macrophage will try to kill it. If macrophage could not able to kill, it will release some inflammatory mediators like interleukins, prostaglandin, all those things, and this will call the more other cells. So more macrophages will come. Along with that, more neutrophils also will come. And once the neutrophil participate in this, it will also release the various inflammatory chemicals, and those are leukotrienes, prostaglandin, and thromboxanes. And these are responsible for the very important inflammatory reaction. That is, they cause a severe vasodilation. Advantage of vasodilation is it will increase blood flow to the site. Second thing, it increases the capillary permeability, and that allows to release more chemical substances from the blood into the interstitial spaces, and that will create a fluid accumulation at the site of the inflammation that called edema. Then neutrophils also release the substances. These are called pyrogens. Pyrogens are substances which increase the body temperature or which produces the fever. Uh, Another name of the fever is pyrexia. So substances which can produce the fever is called pyrogens. So these neutrophils also release the various substances and that act as pyrogens. Along with that, it also bacteria also release that is those are called bacterial pyrogens. Together, they will release and act on CNS and increase body temperature and create a fever. Then come to the phagocytosis. Phagocytosis is a process where the bacteria got or foreign organism got engulfed by the immune cells and try to kill it. So start with the different steps. So first is a margination. So margination is whenever there is any inflammation occurs by macrophage and they release the chemical into the tissue and they spread diffuses in the interstitial spaces and comes to the blood vessels, capillaries. And once it comes to the blood vessels, it start attracting the neutrophils, and neutrophils now moving neutrophils will come and attach themselves into the margin of the blood vessels or capillaries, and this mechanism is called margination. And this margination is caused by because of binding of protein called selectins. So selectins will bind the surface of the neutrophils bind with the endothelial cells and they will stick to the capillary endothelium. Then there is a small pores in the capillary endothelium, and from there, after margination, neutrophils will slowly put a pseudopode-like process. So this is simple. Neutrophil will look something like this. जो circular में दिखाया इतना ये नहीं होता है. It is like that, and they will put some extend the one process of the cytoplasm with the cell membrane into the cell, and that small portion will move from the small size of the pore of the capillaries, and that will the limb which they extend from the cell is called diapedesis, or also called as if you see amoeba, same type of process is called pseudopore formation. So diapedesis, and where from this will start moving out of the uh, capillaries and goes into the tissue space, interstitial space. From there, once they reach into interstitial space, through the difference in the concentration of the chemical substances like cytokines or interleukins, which are spread with from low concentration, they'll go towards the high concentration, and this mechanism is called chemotaxis. Now you see, understand, this is the source or inflammatory size. From this is the source from where the substances are spread on different side. So concentration of the leukotrienes will be very higher, and it will start decreasing. Okay, so once suppose neutrophil come here, it will not go here because here also same concentration, this side also same concentration. From this side to this side, this is high concentration. So it will go from low concentration to high side. Once it comes here, it will not move back because behind is low concentration. And this side is also has the same concentration, but here there is a high concentration. So it will go from low concentration to the high concentration. Ultimately, it will reach to the site of the inflammation, and this mechanism is called chemotaxis. And this chemotaxis is usually guided by the various inflammatory mediators, and these are called like complement systems, cytokines, or interleukin. More specifically, it is interleukin. Leukotriene B4. Once they reach to the site of the inflammation, they will cause phagocytosis. They will try to engulf. Okay, so how the phagocytosis, before phagocytosis, these neutrophils are very choosy. Don't like food very raw, so they want it to be very tasty. So it make tasty by the sauce, and sauce is like a coating of applied by the any opsonins. Opsonins are the substances which forms the coating over the bacteria, and that attracts to the phagocytic cell. So opsonins can be either it can be complement system or complements, or it can be antibodies, So when the complement forms a coating over the bacteria, or it forms coating over the antibodies forms a coating over the cell, then this is called the opsonization. Once that opsonization will happen, now phagocytic cell will attract towards the bacteria, and now they will attach. So the neutrophil will form two pseudopore around the first they attach with those opsins which present on the bacteria, and then from that opsins they attract the forms the pseudopores. Pseudopores will form and they will wrap around the complete. So यहाँ पे जैसे इधर हो गया, here also it will start attaching. Here also will start the cell membrane will start attaching on the complete area of the bacteria, and once it reach to the opposite side, and there it will fuse. Here it will fuse and form one vesicles, and that vesicle is called phagosomes. Once it forms phagosomes, phagosome moves inside the cell, and now phagosome will fuse with another vesicle called lysosome, like those granules which present in the neutrophils, and these granules will release their chemical into the phagosomes, and now this phagosome is called phagolysosomes. Once this secretion like lysosomes will pour all their enzymes into the vesicles, and thus while they're pouring, they also release those chemicals into the interstitial spaces. So this is how the inflammatory materials comes into the interstitial space, and this process is called degranulation. Once degranulation occur and all these enzymes attach with the bacteria and start killing, they will try to kill the bacteria. And there are various mechanisms through which they kill the bacteria. So one is oxygen-dependent mechanism, where the oxidizing agents like superoxide or H2O will be formed, and they will bound with the NADPH oxidase membrane, and that will increase oxygen intake, and it will generate a nascent oxygen, that is O2 negative. Okay, the O2 negative will be generated, and this O2 negative is a very, very oxidizing agent, similarly like the H2O2. And this both will be a very, very strong bactericidal agent. So they will kill the bacteria in the presence of nascent oxygen O2 negative or H2O2. They both will try to kill the bacteria. Another is like a myeloperoxidase will be there, which convert ions into their acids, and the acid will also try to kill. Then there is another type of mechanism, oxygen independent mechanism, that is directly proteolytic mechanism, and these hydrolyzing enzymes will release and they will start destroying the proteins of the cell membrane of the bacteria, and then other enzymes is present within the bacteria try to kill the bacteria. Okay, so this is all about the functions of neutrophil. Any questions, any doubt?
No,
No,
sir.
sir. टाइफाइड फीवर में
हाँ,
ल्यूकोसाइट काउंट कम क्यों जाता है मुझे?
एक्चुअली कम नहीं होता वो, दैट इज नॉर्मल, बट न्यूट्रोफिल का काउंट बढ़ जाता है, तो इट शोज रिलेटिवली देयर इज अ लो lymphocyte count.
Okay.
Now come to the variations in the neutrophil. Whenever there is increased count of the neutrophil, we call it the neutrophilia. Whenever there is a decrease, we call it the neutropenia. So whenever absolute count will increase more than 10,000, then we call it neutrophilia, and it is there are physiological causes for increase in count, and it's like immediately after exercise, newborn babies, after meal, pregnancy, menstruation, lactation, stress, and even if given epinephrine. So all these will increase the count. In newborn baby, it is already under the stress. That's why there is increased count. While exercise, mental stress, emotional stress will increase sympathetic activity, and that will pull the marginal pool into the central pool, and that's why there is an increase in the count. While pregnancy and menstruation, that is also one of the stress factor, and because of stress, there is increase in neutrophil count. Pathological variations, any acute pyogenic infection will cause increase in neutrophil count. Other conditions were non-inflammatory, but autoimmune disorders like gout or acute rheumatic fever, they're also increasing neutrophil count. Then the tissue destruction, whenever this occurs, tissue destruction, that will also increase the neutrophil count, like a burn or surgery or road traffic accident or myocardial infarction. During this period also, there is an increase in neutrophil count. Decrease in whenever the neutrophil count decrease less than 2500 macroliter, then we call it as a neutropenia. And physiological causes are not there for neutropenia, but pathological causes like a non-pyogenic infection, like enteric fever, typhoid and paratyphoid fever, malaria. So this typhoid and paratyphoid fever is also called as a enteric fever. Enteric means enter means GI tract. Or this typhoid and paratyphoid are both affect the GI tract. That's why also called as a enteric fever. So infection causing GI tract, which can cause fever. Okay. Then come to the malaria or bone marrow depression. Then also it leads to decrease in neutrophil count. In bone marrow depression, it will not only neutrophil count, but other lymphocytes, leukocytes will also decrease, and RBC and the platelet count will also decrease. Then come to the eosinophil. It also has the same structure, size like a 10 to 14 micron. Nucleus is usually bilobed, or also they arrange themselves with a very thin strand of the chromatin, and that's why they many times look like a spectacle shape. Nucleus, and here granules. Cytoplasm is more of acidophilic, so it will look more reddish and pinkish color of the cytoplasm, and granules are very strong acidophilic, and it is a much coarser than the neutrophilic ground. So you can, in neutrophils, you will not able to see the specific granules. You will just see the discoloration of the cytoplasm or turbid cytoplasm. But in eosinophil, you can see distinct granules. So you can see actually the size and shape of the granules, and these are very strong, basic in nature. That's why they take a strong acidic color, and that can show bright red to orange color of the granules. And these are usually spread throughout the cytoplasm, so nucleus is not much covered, and you can easily identify the nucleus. These granules contain histamines, lysosomal enzymes, and also eosinophilic chemotactic factor. Apart from this, these granules also contain a basic protein, and because of presence of this basic protein, they attract the acid stain. Then come to the functions. It causes mild phagocytosis of very non-motile and small bacteria, and this activity is very phagocytic, but it has played a very major role in parasitic infections. Okay, so it is one of the defense mechanisms of parasitic infection, and it acts through the substances that attach themselves to the parasites, and they release the substances that can kill the parasites. So it is one of the important subjects is major basic protein, MBP, and it is very highly larvicidal polypeptide. And if it goes into larvae, it can kill those large larvae. Once the larvae died, then it can get engulfed or killed caused by the phagocytosis. Then phagocytosis will possible. Okay. Then it also contains a cationic protein, which is bactericidal and major destroyer against the helminth. So helminths against it work, and it also releases the chemical called peroxidase that can act against the helminth and tumor cells along with the bacteria. Okay. It also plays in allergic reactions. So eosinophil increases in a allergic condition like asthma and hay fever. They're capable of detoxifying the chemicals which are released by the mast cell. Mast cell are the activated part of the basophils, and whatever the mast cell release, that it neutralizes by the eosinophil, like histamine or bradykinin, which has a allergic reaction, neutralize. So, and they also act directly on the mast cell and prevent their degranulation, and so that they will reduce the allergic reaction. And another thing, the eosinophil also phagocytoses the antigen antibody complex. So the antigen antibody complex also many times can produce a hyperimmune response that will also be affected by the or prevented by the eosinophils. Then it contain aryl phosphatase base in there, and that sulfur contain leukotrienes, and it directly liberate and causes immediate hypersensitivity. So tissue that so it affect the mast cell to prevent the liberation of immediate hypersensitivity reactions. Then it also contains lysophospholipase, which is usually membrane-bound protein, and it forms a crystal like called charette-laden crystals in the pulmonary secretion of the patient, and that usually in the bronchial asthma patient. So whenever you take a sputum, in sputum you will see the crystal-like structure in the eosinophils, and that is one of the diagnostic feature of the bronchial asthma, specifically when bronchial asthma is because of allergic reaction to the particular external allergens. Then eosinophil also present in the various mucosal layers like respiratory tract, GI tract, urinary tract, and it provides mucosal immunity or local immunity, so that infection will not occur through these GI tracts, which are actually exposed to the external environment. Then come to the variations. Whenever there is increase in count, we call eosinophilia. Whenever there is decrease in count, we call eosinopenia. Whenever count is more than 500, we call it as a eosinophilia. That you will see usually in allergic reactions like asthma, hay fever, parasitical infection like worm infection, hookworm, tapeworm. Then skin diseases, allergic skin diseases like urticaria or scarlet fever. In those conditions, there will increase in eosinophil count. Decrease in count whenever you treat with a immunosuppressant like a steroids. ACTH will also increase steroid, or direct steroid will also cause a decrease in eosinophil count. So whenever there is stress, that will also increase eosinophil count, and acute pyogenic infection will also decrease the eosinophil count. Then come to the basophils. It is also of the 10 to 4 micron. It contains bilobed nucleus. Sometimes it contains trilobed nucleus, but it's not much visible because of it is completely covered with a coarse granules. So granules which are present in eosinophil as compared to basophil are smaller, while basophil contain much larger or much coarser granule as compared to eosinophil. So neutrophil has a very fine granules, eosinophil has coarse granules, while basophil has a much coarser granule. And these granules are so much overcrowded that it will completely cover the nucleus. Nucleus is also stained with the basophilic stain, and this granule is also stained with the basophilic stain. So it will be very difficult to differentiate between nucleus and granules. If it is cytoplasm also contain basophilic in nature, and it is a little bit light blue color, while granules are very coarse and take a strong basophilic stain, that methylene blue dye, and it shows very dark blue color granules, and they almost completely cover the nucleus. And these granules usually contain heparin, histamine, and 5-HT, serotonin. And these granules also contain eosinophilic chemotactic factor. Then come to the functions. It does cause mild phagocytic action. Basophils are responsible for the release of allergens or allergic chemicals like histamine, bradykinin, and serotonin, also slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis. These substances will increase the dilatation of the blood vessels, increase permeability of blood vessels, and also shows other manifestation in the tissues. This important is it prevents the spread of allergic inflammatory process in the body. So अगर कहीं एक पे हो रहा, तो we will try to keep that allergic reaction to localize to that, not allow it to spread to the different part of the body by releasing the eosinophilic chemotactic factor, and eosinophil will come and act on that inflammatory allergic mediators and try to destroy those allergic mediator. If it is because of antigen antibody complex, then eosinophil phagocytose those antigen antibody complex and try to remove the any inflammatory initiators in that side and try to prevent the allergic reaction. Eosinophil also release a heparin, and that heparin will prevent the blood clotting, and that is important for the inflammatory area, so that blood will not clot there, and blood flow will be remain there, and it also helps to remove the fat particle from the blood whenever it goes in absorbed in a portal circulation. Then come to the variations in the basophil. When increased count, we call it basophilia. When decreased count, we call basopenia. So when a count is more than 100, then we call it basophilia. It is usually seen in viral infection, allergic reaction, and also chronic myeloid leukemia. Decrease in count is called basopenia, but as we know, it is a zero. So when it is a complete absence, it can be in acute steroids or drug-induced reaction or acute pyogenic infection. Then come to the mast cell. Mast cell is one of large tissue cell which has a function similar to the basophils, but it is nothing but the basophil activated and goes into the tissues, and where they lodge into tissues. They also present in the bone marrows and also present in the blood. And they do not enter. Once they come out of the blood, they do not enter back to the circulation, and these are responsible for the production of allergic reactions. Then come to the lymphocytes. Lymphocytes is two types, large and small. Large will be up 12 to 16 diameter, while small is up to 7 to 10 diameter. Nucleus size almost same. In small lymphocytes, nucleus will completely fill the cell, and there will be the only small tinge of the, like if you see this, consider, so in small cell, this will be the margin of the cell. So it will only rim of the cytoplasm surrounding the uh, nucleus, while it is very, very deeply dark blue stain, and that's how many times it gives ink dot appearance or ink spot appearance. जैसे आप वो पुराने ज़माने में fountain pen use करते थे, and if you keep that fountain pen and attach to the pen and you will keep there, so it will slowly spread that ink in that pen. It looks similar like that of the ink spot appearance. And nucleus is usually chromatin which contains very coarse, crumpled, and shapeless. So it will be not like specifically lobule or nothing. It is within the throughout the nucleus. It will spread uniformly. Cytoplasm in small, very, very scanty. In large, it will be little bit more. And proportion, if you see nucleus and cytoplasm is always less than a size of the nucleus, and because of that it usually show crescentic shape of the blue color which surrounds the nucleus, and there is no visible granules. Functions, functionally there are two types, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, and these are name are given depend upon how they get matured. So B lymphocytes are formed in bone marrow, and they get matured or processed in the bone marrow, and they are responsible for the humoral acquired immunity, or also called the production of antibodies. While T lymphocytes are formed in bone marrow, and then they goes out and processed in the thymus, and that's why they are called T lymphocytes, and they are more concerned about the acquired cellular immunity. The next type of the lymphocyte is natural killer cell, and these are actually part of innate immunity. They are not specific with the antigen or anything. They're non-specifically they can kill any cell which coated with the immunoglobulin G. And this phenomenon is called antigen-dependent cell-mediated cytotoxicity, and it very strong killer, and it also identifies the cells which doesn't contain HLA markers. Okay, now come to the functions of lymphocytes. Okay, B lymphocytes form humoral immunity, T killer immunity, natural killer cells, and we'll talk a separate chapter on this regarding immunity. There we'll talk in detail about the functions of these lymphocytes. Okay, so whenever there is increased count of the lymphocytes, we call it as lymphocytosis, and when decreased count, we call it as a lymphopenia. Physiological increase in lymphocytosis, young children or adult and female during pregnancy and menstruation, there is increase in count of lymphocytosis, where pathological increase in chronic bacterial infections like tuberculosis or hepatitis, viral infections like chickenpox, and also autoimmune disorders like thyrotoxicosis. There's increase in count of the lymphocyte. Lymphopenia, you will see on treatment of immunosuppressive drugs or steroids, hypoplastic bone marrow, and also during irradiation or AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Then come to the monocytes. It is one of the largest cell we can find in the bone marrow. It ranges from 12 to 20 micron in diameter, and it contains nucleus single lobe, and it is usually a kidney shape or horseshoe shape of the nucleus. And if you see on this is like you are seeing side view. If you see on the front view, sometimes you will see it is like a notched or indented type of the nucleus. And cytoplasm usually contain no visible granules, and they are abundant. Proportion of the cytoplasm and nucleus is almost similar. So the clue it is either play blue of the cytoplasm color will be there, and it might contain the small granules, purple granules. These are called azurophilic granules or azurogranules. And it also contains the vacuoles. Fate of the monocytes. The monocytes remain into the circulation from 10 to 40 hours, and then it will moves out of the blood and goes into the extravascular spaces, and where they'll convert into macrophages. And this total portion formation of macrophage is also called as the reticuloendothelial system. So the macrophage system is called reticuloendothelial system, and in tissues they can live for months to years and keep on doing phagocytic functions throughout their life till they die. The functions it form the first defense mechanism of the body, and along with the neutrophils, they form very important phagocytosis. Monocytes or macrophages are more powerful phagocytic as compared to neutrophil, and they can phagocyte as much as 100 bacteria. Monocytes have ability to engulf the large bacteria also, like as large as the red cells also, and even malarial parasites also. And they phagocytes same as like a neutrophils, but another advantage is that they can exocytosis also. That is not happen with the neutrophils. That's why they could able to phagocyte such a large number of the bacteria. Monocytes also causes immunity against the tumor cells and can kill the tumor cells, and also sensitize the lymphocytes for the tumor cells because it works as antigen presenting cells. So whenever the phagocytose any bacteria, so antigens, the specific identifiable antigens, they will appear on the surface of the monocytes or macrophages, and those antigen antibodies antigen will be identified by the lymphocytes, and they will sensitize the lymphocytes. This mechanism is called antigen presentation. And monocytes also synthesize the various inflammatory substances, and they're responsible for the inflammatory reactions, and also it synthesizes the complement system, which are a very strong humoral part of the innate immunity. Variations whenever the increase in the cell is called monocytosis. Examples like tuberculosis, syphilis, any type of chronic bacterial infection can cause increase in monocyte count. Endocarditis, then viral infection, infectious mononucleosis, specifically name is given because of there is increase of monocyte count very high, and this is also called a glandular fever because it causes increased size of the lymph nodes. In the viral infection also there is increased monocyte count. In protozoal and rickettsial infections like Kala-Azar and malaria, also there is increase in monocyte count. Decrease in monocyte count is called a monocytopenia, and it is usually in the hypoplastic bone marrow. Okay, so this is comparison. These are the represented picture. This is how actually you will see under the microscope. So these are the diagram where you can see various. So if you see this neutrophil, three-lobe neutrophil, which has a very fine granules, which doesn't disturb the size and shape of the nucleus. And if you compare them with the RBC size, so this is RBC size. These are a little bit larger than the RBC size. Okay. Then come to the eosinophil. If you see typical spectacle-like shape of the eosinophil and having coarse granules. Now you can see the margins of the granules, and the granules are very, very much pink or orange type of the color. Then come to the basophils. Here you have very dark uh, uh, granules will be there and very big granules. The coarse granules will be there, and you cannot identify the nucleus here. Then come to the lymphocytes. Lymphocyte is form a large nucleus with a less cytoplasm and dark blue color of the nucleus. While if you see the monocyte, biggest feature of monocyte is size. It is much larger as compared to any other cell, and it is usually C-shaped or kidney shape of the nucleus. So this is how we will identify each and every cells in the blood. Any questions, any doubt?
No, sir.
Then come to the one another condition called leukemias. Like whenever there's increased count in the blood, we call it as a leukocytosis. But when count goes beyond lakhs, normal count is 10,000, बढ़ के 12,000 हो जाएगा, 15,000 हो जाएगा. But when count goes into like 1 lakh to 3 lakh, that condition is called usually a leukemias. Okay? And these leukemias usually occur whenever there is an uncontrolled proliferation of the leukocytes occur. That time we call it as a leukemia. And these are usually associated with other features like there is more production of the WBCs. It will suppresses the production of the other cells like RBCs and platelets, and that will lead to formation of anemia, thrombocytopenia. And it not only causes only development in the bone marrow, but other cells sites where it can cause more production like liver and spleen also it can increase. And apart from this, it also affect the other cells, like the cells will start lodging. This is called metastasis, and it affect in the different part of the body like lymph nodes, meninges, brains or skins, and so there will be involvement of the more organ. Leukemia in layman term is also called as a blood cancers. And there are two type of the leukemias, myeloid and lymphoid leukemia. Myeloid means it involves the cells which forms are of the myeloid origins, like it can be granulocytes like a neutrophil, basophil, or eosinophil, or monocyte type of the cells. And lymphoid when the cells are more of like the lymphocytes. So accordingly, they are divided into myeloid or lymphoid leukemia, and depend upon the duration of the leukemia, whether it occur acutely suddenly or there is a progressive increase in the condition. So if acutely occur, then acute leukemia. If the progressively increasing, then a chronic leukemia. So example is acute myeloid leukemia, acute lymphoid leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia, chronic lymphoid leukemia. Here, if you see, the acute myeloid leukemia is written as a myeloblastic. Whenever the acute increase in there, the cells which forms are very, very immature in acute leukemias. That's why instead of myeloid, the term has been used myeloblastic, or instead of lymphoid, the term has used lymphoblastic. Well, in the chronic, the cells are a little bit more mature, but it is not as mature as a normal cell. That's why lymphoid. It's lymphocyte की तरह दिखने वाले cells, or cells which look like the lymphocytes. Myeloid cells which look like the myelocytes. Okay, that is the actual meaning of this nomenclature. That's all about the WBC. Any questions? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
MCQ लेने MCQs लेने हैं.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
सारे अपने कैमरेज ऑन करो। अभिलाष पढ़ो इसको। दिख रहा स्क्रीन?
Yes, sir.
पढ़ो। माइक ऑन करो।
A 45 years old female come for a follow-up of the examination.
जोर से जोर से।
A 45-year-old female come for a follow-up examination after she was started on the treatment of the Graves' disease 4 weeks ago. She complained of a sore throat without odinophagia for a past 4 days. Other than that, she has not active complaints. The patient has the 15 pack years history and the drink 2 to 3 glasses of the wine on the weekend. Her temperature is 37.8 degrees Celsius, approx 100 Fahrenheit. Blood pressure 125 by 82 mmHg and pulse 88 per minute and respiratory rate 15 per minute. Examination showed erythema on the posterior pharyngeal wall without exudate. What is the next best step of the management of the patient?
अभी आप इस पे देखोगे तो पेशेंट एज ट्रीटेड फॉर द ग्रेव्स डिसीज। ओके, मैं इस पे लिख नहीं पाता हूँ। The patient is treated for the Graves' disease. Graves' disease is a thyrotoxicosis.
Hyperthyroidism. Yes, sir.
Hyperthyroidism. It's an autoimmune disorder.
Okay.
Okay. So either it has been given anti-thyroid drugs or immunosuppressive drug. Okay, ये दिमाग में रखो. Okay, then patient complain of sore throat. Sore throat मतलब गले में खराश आना, खांसी होनी थोड़ी थोड़ी. That is the meaning of sore throat. Without odinophagia. Odinophagia means pain during deglutition. Phagia means deglutition. So odinophagia means pain. So there is no pain while degluting. So there is no problem with the deglutition. That is a complaint. And then this shows says no active complaint. Patient has a 6-pack year histories, 15 pack year history. I don't understand what is meant by the 15 pack year history, but 2 to 3 wine glass. But if you see the clinical feature, patient definitely has a fever. Sore throat है, fever है. Patient has a normal blood pressure, pulse rate is little high, 88, and respiratory is also okay. So it is not very severe type of the infection, any infection. But on examination, this shows erythema of the posterior pharyngeal wall without exudate. Means there is a allergic reaction or there is a reaction by the posterior pharyngeal wall. It can be because of allergy or it can be bacterial infection or anything. So what will be the next step of the management? जिसमें आपको डायग्नोसिस करना है कि पेशेंट को क्या हुआ, ट्रीटमेंट नहीं देना है. इसने पूछा नेक्स्ट मैनेजमेंट स्टेप. इसमें हम डायरेक्ट
Order complete blood count with differential.
Yeah. Question is order complete blood count because we want to know whether patient has an infection or not. Or sometimes if it is immunosuppressive drug, then patient has a immunosuppression. So there might be WBC count might be decreased, and that's why patient is prone for infection. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, इस chapter में एक ही था. We'll go for next chapter. इसमें है ही नहीं. एक कौन पढ़ेगा? दिनेश?
A 50-year-old woman with no significant medical comorbidities
Comorbidity.
present to the clinic. Present to the clinic with a 3-month history of dry cough, wheezing, dyspnea, and diarrhea. She also report low-grade fevers up to 100 Fahrenheit. She denies any other symptom, recent travel or consumption of uncooked meat. Physical exam reveal temperature 99.8 Fahrenheit, blood pressure 145 by 75 mmHg, pulse 90 upon 90 per minute, and respiratory rate 20 per minute. She appears well nourished. Lung exam reveals rails on the left lung along with wheezes on expiration. Heart exam reveals a regular rate and no murmurs. The abdominal exam is normal. Lab reveals WBC count 7,000 per microliter. Hemoglobin 11.2 gram per deciliter. Platelet count 4,60,000 per microliter. Neutrophil count 2,500 per microliter. Lymphocyte count 1,500 per microliter, and eosinophil count 900 per microliter. Stool microscopy is negative for ova and parasite. Comprehensive metabolic panel is normal. ESR is 68 millimeter per hour, and CRP 48 milligram per liter. A chest radiograph reveals opacities in the left mid lung with a small pleural effusion. A diagnosis of community acquired pneumonia is made and treated with azithromycin for 5 days. After 2 weeks, the patient returns and is ill appearing. Lungs exam reveals the rates of the right lungs. The remainder of the exam is normal. ESR CRP elevated than prior. The chest radiograph reveals opacities in the right mid lung. The echocardiogram is normal. Further laboratory testing reveals elevated PNCA.
Priyanka? Okay.
At very long question, sir.
What is most likely diagnosis? ओके, अब इस पे अभी पेशेंट को इसमें देखोगे तो उसको 3 महीने से कफ है, विजिंग है, डिस्निया एंड डायरिया. तो कफ विथ विजिंग इज सम ऑफ द साइन लाइक अस्थमा विदाउट स्पूटम है, तो स्पूटम मेंशन नहीं किया, मतलब हम कंसीडर करते हैं विदाउट स्पूटम. एंड देन इफ यू सी द काउंट, eosinophil count, it is somewhere around 900. That is a increase in eosinophil count, so it is a eosinophilic condition. Okay. Respiratory rate also very high. Pulse rate is also.
Answer is B.
Answer is
Sir, B, because eosinophil count is 900, while it is a 500 per micron,
yeah,
and it show the allergic infections also.
yeah, and it is chronic inflammatory condition.
Yes,
ESR is also raised, and C-reactive protein is also raised, and after 2 weeks again it increased. So reaction is chronic inflammatory condition is there. And second thing, they are not responding to the any type of the antibiotics. जिन्होंने निमोनिया करके डायग्नोस किया, 5 दिन तक उसको एंटीबायोटिक दिया है, स्टिल पेशेंट इज नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग बिकॉज पेशेंट इज डजंट हैव एनी इन्फेक्शन. सो एस्केरेसिस का चांसेस नहीं क्योंकि ओवा पैरासाइट्स नहीं है. कंजेस्टिव हार्ट फेलियर का चांसेस नहीं है क्योंकि ईसीजी एंड अदर थिंग्स आर नॉर्मल. सो प्रॉब्लम विद eosinophilic और लिंगोरिस डिसीज. सो eosinophil है तो वी कैन कॉल इट एज अ eosinophilic granulomatosis. ठीक है, और अभी नेक्स्ट में ऐसे बड़े क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, लॉन्ग क्वेश्चंस आएंगे. मोहम्मद अब्दुल
Yes, sir.
जाकिर पढ़ो.
Sir, a 31 a 31-year-old man present to the clinic due to the intermediate solid food dysphagia. The patient said he has a sensation of food getting stuck in his throat after eating. He has a history of asthma, but no other medical conditions. He has tried omeprazole in the past with only minimal improvement of symptoms. An upper endoscopy shows a narrow esophagus with circumferentially rings. Tissue biopsy shows deposit of major basic protein and 20 eosinophils per high power field. Which of the following is the most likely diagnosis?
The
Simple.
answer is B, eosinophil esophagocytosis, because it contains major basic protein.
And also eosinophils.
Yes, sir.
टिश्यू में eosinophils दिखाई दे रहा है. ओके, नेक्स्ट दीपक कुमार पढ़ो.
In 18
An 8-year-old female at the office for the worsening cough since last day. The patient has not had
समझ में नहीं आ
any
रहा,
fever,
समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
rhinorrhea, or
अपूर्वा तुम पढ़ो. अपूर्वा जैन.
An 8-year-old female is seeing at office for a worsening cough since the last day. The patient has not had any fever, rhizophore or symptom production. Her temperature is 98.6 Fahrenheit and oxygen status is 97 on room air. She has biliary expiratory wheeze on physical examination, but is otherwise normal. An increase in which of the following cytokinesis is most likely responsible for the patient breathing difficulty?
B होगा sir. B होगा.
इसके लिए आपको इम्यूनिटी डिटेल में पढ़नी पड़ेगी. इट्स मोस्ट प्रोबेबली इंटरल्यूकिन 4, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली, आई डोंट नो, पर इसके लिए आपको डिटेल पढ़ना पड़ेगा eosinophils कौन सा इंटरल्यूकिन करता है. ओके, इसका हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे इसके बारे में. ओके, तो अपने जो प्रोसेस में दिए वो सारे एमसीक्यूज कवर हो गए और कुछ है नहीं इसमें. सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. एनी क्वेश्चंस, एनी डाउट?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू,
Thank you, sir.
CBC.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
कुछ पूछना है किसी को?
And CBC, how we can differentiate?
क्या?
TLC, DLC, and CBC, how we can differentiate each other, sir?
CBC कंप्लीट ब्लड काउंट, उसमें आरबीसी काउंट, टीएलसी काउंट, हेमोग्लोबिन काउंट, डीएलसी काउंट, प्लेटलेट काउंट सारा आ जाता है. टीएलसी इज टोटल ल्यूकोसाइट काउंट, जिसमें सिर्फ डब्ल्यूबीसी का टोटल नंबर कितना है वही देख रहे हैं. डीएलसी हम अलग अलग डब्ल्यूबीसी कितने परसेंटेज में है वो देख रहे हैं. दैट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन सीबीसी, टीएलसी एंड डीएलसी.
okay, sir.
Any other question? Okay,
No,
then
sir.
bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. You also, sir.